morning! Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to a Monday live stream. The great sew down continues. I am going to continue sewing down the applique on this garden wall hanging that we've been working on for a little over a month now. And we did, last week I should say, I did most of the upper part of this wall hanging. So I took care of the clouds, I did the sun, I even got a butterfly and a bee stitched down. So now I'm going to start working on some of the more complicated areas, and that basically just translates to layering. One of the reasons that layout is so important when you're doing a project like this is so that you know what is behind what. So for example, I'm going to be working on these trees for sure today. So just because there's a lot going on over here, I want to get them taken care of because I want to arrange a whole bunch of stuff on top of it. And these trees all sit behind my house. It sits behind my little flower pot here. It sits behind one of my mushrooms. There's even like a pole of one of my birdhouses sitting behind one of the trees. And the trees are also layered on top of each other. So I want to get to those, start stitching that whole area down because it's background. It's not as important as some of the foreground stuff, but I don't want it moving around on me so that I can now start sewing down things on top of that. So that is the plan for today. We'll see how far I get. A gigantic thank you before I get stitching here to Lynette for giving us a super chat before we got going, and another big thank you to Nico. Nico's in the house gifting a membership. Congratulations to Gloria who won it. Thank you guys so much. Mr. InStitches is in the house.
Good morning, everybody.
He's been getting trolled before we got going here today.
The trolling started early today.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I've got my little sewing needle. It's basically a sewing needle and a scissors kind of day today. I'm going to gently peel back a lot of where I've got things. I just want to I'm not taking them off. I just want to kind of peel them back and get them out of the way. And then I'm going to look at my trees. So for example, this one is in the background. This one completely connects to the back canvas. This one partially connects to the back canvas because it's overlapping this one. This one completely connects. Actually, no, it doesn't. It's overlapping this. So I'm going to start with this tree. I'm just going to bend this tree out of the way. What I had originally done was just taken the long tail and pulled it through the canvas where I wanted it basically anchored. So that was kind of where I wanted my point. And you'll notice that the side of my tree overlaps the edge of my blanket a little bit, or the border on this wall hanging. So that is kind of the idea. I like kind of expanding out of the framework. I'm going to start with this little tail that I've got left behind on my trunk. And I'm just going to really lightly stitch it down because part of it is going to be showing, but the rest of it won't be. Ding, ding. Oh my gosh, right off the bat. Hello, Lorraine. Lorraine has made it. Lorraine is in the house. Lorraine has been a member for 42 months. Thank you, Lorraine, with a membership milestone. Morning, family. Happy Tuesday from down under. Just hit 1 o'clock in the morning here. Oh my goodness, that is an early start to a Tuesday. Glad you could be here today. Lorraine is chilling down under, and it probably is a little chilly down there. You guys have just about entered winter. Oh my gosh, and here's another one. Kelly has been a member for 27 months. Thank you, Kelly, with a membership milestone. Kelly says, all of your projects are so much fun to do. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kelly. So I'm just continuing with the same kind of technique where I thread up the tail left behind on the applique, and I'm just using the top facing loops of the wall hanging itself, so you don't see any stitching show through. Not that that matters because I am going to be lining this with a little bit of cotton, quilting cotton. My tail was here, so I stitched up to this side, and this is where I get creative. I don't want to continue around the green tree. The green tree has its own little tail, so I'm just going to slip this underneath, come back down to the bottom where I started, and then I'm just going to do a little bit of stitching along here. So I'm picking up a loop on the edge of the blanket, and I'm not too terribly worried about making this look really neat and tidy because most of it's going to be hidden behind the little house or behind possibly a little bit of this flower. So this is just sort of tacking it down to make sure that it doesn't want to go anywhere. And after a handful of little stitches, not a lot to do, I'm going to I'll do one more here, and then I'll make a little knot. I'll weave it in underneath the trunk. I'll actually make that part of the knot. And my knots are pretty simple. I just sort of make a loop, pass the tail end of it through the loop, kind of like you would be fastening off. Pull that knot nice and tight, and then I'm just going to weave it in through some of the stitches here on the face of the trunk, but it's the same color tail, so you're not going to notice. Mr. InStitches, you sweetie. Mr. InStitches has just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, honey. And let's see here.
You're paying for it.
It's
LOL.
Big congratulations to Sylvia, Curated Life by Wigglebutt. I love that. Catherine, Charlie, and Amanda. Congratulations, you guys. Welcome back to the family. Oh my gosh. And another membership milestone. Hello, Shelly. Shelly has been a member for 67 months. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Shelly. Shelly says, good morning. I haven't started this project yet, but I love it and I can't wait to start. It is such a nice summer project. I had got this going in May for the spring. It's probably going to be almost the summer before I get it up on the wall, but you know what? I'm not in a rush. It has been so much fun to make these appliques and stitch along with all of you, and then to see all of your ideas coming in. If you missed this morning's community post over on our community tab, we had some more absolutely gorgeous wall hangings to share with you all. So if you're still looking for a little inspiration, or maybe you're just looking for that final touch to sort of finish off your wall hanging, definitely check out those photos because there's some great ideas there. Now I'm going to thread up the long tail left on the green part of the tree, and it doesn't really matter what direction you go in. I want to I'm going to skip some of, obviously this isn't all going to get stitched down on the side because it overlaps my border, but I'm just going to come down this way, go across the bottom, skip underneath the trunk, across the rest of the bottom and up the other side. And that is maybe like every other row. I want to make sure this is firmly stitched down, but it doesn't have to be, the stitches don't have to be super close together.
Did you catch Shelly's membership milestone?
I just read it out.
Okay. I will pay attention from
I'm pretty
now on.
sure I just read it out. Yes.
Shelly Johnson?
Yeah, we were just
Okay.
talking about, she hasn't started it yet, but she's planning on it. Mr. is licking his wounds from being trolled earlier.
I got trolled pretty hard by Nico before we started, so I'm still recovering from that.
So I'm grabbing loops on the wall hanging that are just a little bit behind the tree. So when I make my stitch, the stitches really aren't showing. And like I said in the last sew down episode, you want to just you make a couple stitches and then you put the whole thing back down, make sure it's not moving around on you. Sewing pins are quite handy here. Safety pins, if sewing pins make you nervous. You can pin everything in place so that it doesn't move. And you can leave the pins in place while you're sewing. That helps to keep things from moving around on you if you feel like that's happening. Or you can just do it like me. I'm kind of freehanding this whole thing. I want to make sure that as I stitch, it doesn't move, but I also kind of keep patting it into place, and I want to make sure that it just looks as good as it can. I'm not striving for perfection. Don't need that. I think I will grab one or two of these little loops. So now if you're getting to an area like I am here where this piece really overlaps the edge of the frame, you can't kind of keep sewing around the edge. So what you want to do is grab a piece of the wall hanging, in this case it's the border, and just slip it underneath a loop of a stitch on the underside of your tree or whatever piece you might be doing. And that will just keep it in place. And you can do that all the way down until you've gotten to an area where the edge of your applique is back on the blanket. And that just keeps it kind of stitched to the wall hanging. So there you go. I've stitched it to the wall hanging. It is not showing through to the back. This is actually, that greenery there you see is part of the border, but you don't see the stitching showing through. So that is now stitched down, and then I can continue along here. So one little stitch across the edge, and then one more right at the corner here where the trunk and the tree meet. I'll get one little stitch in there. Then I'm going to take my needle. Because this area is already stitched down, I'm going to just slip my hook right underneath the whole thing. So I'm skipping along underneath the tree. I am not going through the blanket. I'm not going through any stitches. I'm just skipping right underneath it. Don't pull too tightly because you don't want to like cinch up your stitches or anything. And then I'm just going to continue stitching over here. And I'm grabbing loops of the wall hanging that are directly beneath the stitches along the edge of this tree. Keep my house out of the way. There we go. All right, and now it's just up the other side. And I'm kind of just skipping up every couple of stitches. I'm not really worried about doing every little edge along the side of this tree because this will largely be overlapped by the tree that sits on top of it. But I still want it to be stitched down to the blanket. I don't want it to move around. Summer is asking for a sale. Actually, we do have a little bit of a sale running at the Etsy shop today. On Friday, we launched Granny Square, so Granny's Magical Cupboard, our calendar blanket for this year. Our latest Granny Square tutorial went up on Friday. It is the Irish Rose. I've had a lot of requests to do an Irish Rose pattern over the years, so I was really excited to finally design one that fits with all the other squares in this year's blanket pattern. And that was Friday, and we have a little sale going at the shop on the rest of the Granny's Magical Cupboard Granny Square pattern. So all 6 of the Granny Squares in this year's calendar blanket series so far are on sale, 15% off. It was all this weekend. It's all day today, so the rest of today, and then that sale ends this evening. So if you are interested in 1 or 2 or any of those Granny Square patterns for this year's calendar blanket, feel free to pick them up. They're 15% off today. One of my legs is falling asleep.
I missed a membership milestone, but it doesn't matter because it's Jessica Rabbit. She's only half paying attention to our show today.
Hello, Ms. Rabbit. Jessica Rabbit, a member for 30 months. Thank you, Ms. Rabbit. Thank you, Mr. for noticing. Happy first day of Steam Summerfest. Oh my gosh, I guess I'll be checking that out after the stream. I'll have to play games because I cannot get into my craft room. Yeah, if you are a gamer, oh my gosh, Susie, thank you for picking up a couple patterns at the shop, Susie. Thank you. If you play games and you use Steam, Jessica Rabbit has just reminded me that there's a summer sale going on, so nice time to pick up some games. Good for the kids too. There's a lot of really great games on Steam, and they're not all just, you know, hack and slash. A lot of them are very smart and academic kind of oriented. And it's just, you know, it's on the rainy days that come in the summer. It's nice to have something for them to do indoors, keep them quiet. And a couple of video games is always a good choice. I've finished stitching all the way around my tree, so I'm going to do one last little stitch up here, and then I'm going to make a little knot, and that will be tree number 1 stitched on. So let's see, one little knot. Getting my knots correct is still something I work at. So let me just pull that side down a little bit more. There we go. Okay, nice and tight. What am I doing at the top of my tree? I'm going to slip this underneath my tree. There we go. I'll weave it back through a couple of stitches here. And once more underneath the tree. And then I will snip what's left of that tail. Okay, so that goes in my little stash. All right, so that is a tree sewn down. This one sits on top of it, but it also sits on top of this one. So before I stitch that down, I look at the next thing. Is this fully touching? No, it's on top of this. Okay, so I flip, flip. What's next? Definitely this tree is on the background here. But now should this be in front of it? If this sits behind, I didn't have that in front of my tree. I have these are supposed to be in the background. So this is in the foreground, which means this needs to come over top of my tree. So this tree completely touches the background. So let me just pull up, this is my chimney. I'm gonna move that out of the way completely.
Vicky would like to know if you will be showing us how to finish the back.
Yes, we are going to do either a video or a live stream. I haven't quite worked out how that's going to work out yet.
And also we are going to show you how we're going to hang it.
Yes. Every aspect of this is going to get documented some way. I'm thinking just because of the sheer size of it, I might make a little video on lining the back of this because it is not that difficult. And it's a nice quick little it's a quick little technique to sort of demonstrate lining an actual blanket or a wall hanging or something. And it's kind of a sideways useful technique. So you can line baby blankets or other like crochet articles like purses and stuff. So I'm probably, but because of the size of this, I might want to be able to show a little bit more of it. So I might turn it into an actual video. I'll have Mr. InStitches help me film that. So we'll probably have that as a separate video part of this series. That'll be coming before we're completely finished with this. And then we're going to make the hangers so that we can hang this. And I think that'll probably be a live stream. So that's the plan. Okay, this little guy, this tree completely, let me turn it around, make sure that I'm looking at the front of it, is going to be stitched right here because this completely touches, all parts of it touch the background, which means it's a full background piece. I want my birdhouse to actually be just slightly overlapping it. So I'm going to stitch this one down next and then the rest of the trees on top of it. So let me quickly zip through this. Here's now this won't be showing at all, my little trunk. So I'm only going to do a couple of stitches just to basically tack it in place using the same yarn that I left behind on it. And I'll bring this down here. You almost can't even see this trunk because it's essentially the exact same brown as the dirt that it's planted in.
Audrey asks, Jayda, what did you do to your arm?
Oh. Yeah, it's a lot worse looking than it actually is.
It's a battle wound.
It's a battle wound. We've been in the garden and we've been cleaning up a lot of sort of fallen and dead branches. So we were having a little bit of a fire in our little metal chimenea, and I had, you know, full coverage. I had gloves and everything on, but I kind of, you know what happens when you're shoving stuff into a thing. Anyway, I don't know, a combination of like catching the edge of the chimenea and too much branches, and my glove got caught. Anyway, I just got a little bit of a burn there. Bit of a burn scratch, so it's really not that big a deal. But
for the record, it looks worse on camera than it actually is.
It looks terrible,
why.
but it's really
the camera's really highlighting it.
It's really not that big a deal. It's like a bad scrape. I don't even think it's really a burn. It's just sort of a bad scrape, but everything looks like, you know, the end of the world on me for some reason. I have like the minorest bruises, and it looks like I was in a car accident. You know, I don't understand why. All right, that's one more little trunk stitched down. I'm just going to weave this tail in just kind of lightly underneath it and trim any excess. And then I'll be on to the tree. Ding, ding. Hello, Susie. Susie has gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Susie. How absolutely sweet. And Shanine has won it. Congratulations, Shanine. Welcome back to the family. All right, I'm going to trim this Thank you so much, Susie. Okay, so I'm going to trim or sew down the rest of this tree, and I'm going to see just how quickly I can start to stitch, especially when you've sort of seen me do one or two of these. I want to see if I can do this nice and quick. I would like to get a significant amount of this, of the big background stuff stitched down today. Maybe not all the little finer things like my birdhouses and whatnot, but just so much of this sort of general background stuff. I'd like to have it largely done today, but we shall see. We shall see. Does anybody else kind of sing to themselves when they're sewing or crocheting or generally crafting? I feel like I never realized that I did that until we started live streaming, and I hear myself sing every once in a while, and I think, oh. Nico sings to her cat. Well, fancy that. I love it. I sing to Mr. InStitches just to drive him crazy. Okay. Yeah. Getting somewhere now. This is good. And I keep moving it just to make sure that it's not, or I keep patting it down, I should say, sort of pausing to make sure I'm not skipping any important pieces and nothing has moved. I'm kind of getting the edge and the underneath of this tree, and that makes it sort of sit out. Okay, down to the bottom. I'm going to zip across the bottom here. Yeah, I'm not crazy. Singing is fun, White Hawk. I agree. I like it. I mean, the birds do it. Why shouldn't we? All right, slipping underneath the trunk. And now I'm going to continue over here, just grabbing loops. Not worrying too much about every stitch across the bottom of the background pieces, because if they're largely going to be underneath other appliques, you just want to make sure that they're firmly attached to the blanket or the wall hanging, but they don't have to be super like detail, you know, nice and neat and tidy every single stitch. You're just sort of making sure they're on there. Shelly! Shelly has gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Shelly. And congratulations, Castle Goddess. I love that. Castle Goddess has won it. Welcome back to the family. Thank you so much, Shelly. You guys are so fun. I'm going to make sure I post the login information again for the Silk and Vicuña members for the website, just so if you're new or you're recently back, you've got the updated info. This is looking quite good. I like it. It's very satisfying to it looks chaotic, you know, during layout. You've got tails everywhere. Things are kind of twisting on you, you know. You're not really sure if this is going to go there, if that's going to sit underneath this. So it looks a little chaotic, but once you start sewing things down, it starts to look so neat and tidy and so polished, and it's just, I just love that. I love that watching it all come together feeling. I'm going to put a little knot all the way up here in the top. Guess I need to do that again. one tiny little knot right at the top. Make that nice and tight, and then I will bring my needle in, weave it under a couple of stitches. And trim. Careful not to snip your other stitches. Another one from my scrap pile. Okay. So what have I got now? This guy sits on top of this one. This one sits on top of both. This is upside down. And then my house sits on top of really all four of those trees. So this one goes next because it is mostly touching the canvas, but it overlaps with this one. So I'm going to keep my house out of the way. Lynette is back with a super sticker. Thank you so much, Lynette. And that is one jivin' lemon. I love it. That's me in the kitchen.
That lemon is breaking it down.
I literally do that dance when I'm like, this is going to be good.
Yep. When you're about to eat something that I cooked?
Yeah.
That is a cute dancing lemon.
That is a cute dancing lemon. So that's where my top is. I'm going to make sure I keep that right about there. And I'm on the right side. And I'm going to just quickly stitch this guy down. Keep that out of the way. And so just two little stitches up the side of the trunk because it's largely going to be underneath the house. And then I'll bring this back down here. I'll grab that little loop.
Carmen Cook. I've never heard her say my name. Have you never said Carmen's name?
Carmen?
Carmen?
I don't know. Maybe.
Let's hear it again. How many times can we say the name Carmen? Carmen. Carmen? Carmen, you have to show up to every live stream to get your name called out. If you show up once in a while, it most likely won't happen.
Or you have to give Mr. InStitches a really good troll and then I'll see it.
You have to be extremely witty with the trolling.
Yes.
And then you'll get some attention.
I also have to say, most of the time, guys, I have my face down in what I'm doing here. So unless I have 2 seconds to grab a sip of water and stare at what's going on, I know you guys are all there entertaining each other, which I'm really grateful for because I'm here doing a lot of crocheting or stitching or sewing or something, and I surface once in a blue moon to sort of see what's happening in the chat. I'm so excited about getting this finished that I want to stitch faster than my fingers will let me. There we go. Okay, and now I'll pull this one out. So I kind of, like I said earlier, I took the sewing yarns and I pulled them through the canvas where I roughly wanted those pieces to start, stop, be anchored, etc.
Okay, we're getting some hardcore trolling from Krista now.
Well, good.
You can read it, but you can't read it out loud.
Yeah, Krista, exactly.
Okay, that's a little too hardcore trolling. You might want to dial that down just a little. There, Krista. Let's keep the trolling to like maybe a level 7.
Why? It's Monday.
It's Monday. Exactly, it's Monday. You can go to level 10 on Friday. Both Nico and Krista went straight to level 10.
Well, Nico's a level 10 kind of girl.
Don't make me turn it on, guys. Please. Don't make me turn it on. Jayda's got the leash on me.
Family-friendly show.
Family-friendly. Family-friendly. Family-friendly show.
All right. This is zipping along. Gonna get bottom edge here stitched up, a couple of little stitches along the bottom, and then I'm going to sneak it underneath the trunk. When you get to a part where applique is being attached to another applique, like I'm about to do here with my 2 trees, you don't have to reach all the way through the applique to the canvas. You don't have to go all the way through to the back of the canvas. You just grab whatever loops are available to you, and if those are the loops of a previous applique, that's what you use to stitch it down with. Which is another reason why you do need to stitch down your background pieces. You can, you know, be a little more loosey-goosey with it, but you want to make sure it's firmly attached, at least, because if you come along and you're stitching to it, like I am here with this other tree, you want to make sure that it doesn't want to lift off of the background. So there we go. I hear a ding ding, and I sing sing, hello Shell Shell! Shell Shell! Shell's been a member for 67 months, my goodness! Thank you, Shell! What's Shell got to say today? Membership milestone, did someone mention trolling? Happy Monday, everyone! Yes. One of my favorite trolls.
It is too early for trolling.
Shell's been trolling the mister for a long time now.
Yes, yes. Shell has a lot of years of trolling me.
Shell has good trolling history
in her belt. Audrey would like to know what trolling is.
Audrey. Trolling is basically, I mean, I'm sure you know what a troll is. You know, a troll is usually an unsavory character, occasionally found under bridges. Trolling is sort of just generally, usually if there's a troll in the chat, it's somebody
there's mean trolls and there's cute trolls.
Yeah, so if there's a troll in the chat, usually that means that the person is trying to upset the chat, be negative, be rude, be just inappropriate. But then there's sort of fun trolling where you're kind of poking like you would as an older sibling at a younger sibling. You're kind of teasing. So there's trolling that's kind of like, you know, lovable teasing, and then there's you know the negative kinds of trolls. So you probably hear that mentioned, you know, in internet chatter. Our trolls.
Our trolls are positive.
Our trolls are hilarious.
We only support positive trolling here and happy trolling.
Yeah, we support happy positive.
Negative trolling gets sent home.
Gets the boot.
Gets the boot.
All right, another nice knot at the top of a tree.
Yes,
crochet.
Nico, exactly. Mister is a lovable punching bag.
Yes, crochet with Diane. Just think of him as your little brother. Crochet.
Anna Victoria is also pretty good with the trolling.
She's a good troller too. Yes.
Yep.
I'm trying to get out poor Crochet with Diane's here. She's got a membership milestone. Thank you, Diane.
Mama InStitches? She is doing great.
Diane has been a member for 44 months. Thank you so much. Says, hi everyone, trolling and finishing a book. That's a nice combination. Mama InStitches is great. Sooner or later we're going to have her on the show.
Mama InStitches episodes coming soon.
Yes, coming soon, we hope. Coming soon to a YouTube near you. All right, there's another tree down, and this is the right side. This guy sits on top of, is that the right side? This is the right side. This one, I had this anchored up here. That's where my tip's going to go. This one sits on top of these trees. I'm going to stitch down trunk, the rest of the tree, and then those will be my trees down. And then I will start folding back all my other appliques to see what has to go next. This is coming together really. See how what I mean? This now looks so much more neat and tidy. It's a lot more like as I'm sewing, I'm pulling out the corners of the tree. I'm pulling up on the tip. I am helping to shape that applique as I stitch it down. So it goes from looking kind of messy and chaotic to looking a lot more sharper, more defined, a lot more like a painting. Again, another reason why I like this part of the process. So a couple stitches up the side. I'm going to bring this back down here. This is, I think, going to be completely hidden under my house, so I just want to make sure it doesn't want to lift. is this loop right here. One final stitch down for this, and then I will knot it probably in the same place that I'm stitching it. And then I'll weave that tail in. That's a nice short one. There we go. Nice tight knot. Let's weave that tail in. This whole trunk's going to be underneath the roof of the house, I think. All right, there we go. That's the trunk down. Let's get this out. Yes, Mama is very shy. We've been sort of teasing her about being on the show, and she wants to be on the show, but she's not sure exactly how she wants to be on the show yet, so still working on her. Okay, let's get this tree down. Ah, Vima, great question. Hello, Jayda. If I have to show smoke coming out of a chimney of a house, any ideas? Yeah, I got a couple ideas. So if this is just for the wall hanging and it's not going to be getting too much traffic, you could always use a little bit of pulled, lightweight, like quilt bat or cotton ball. Now, getting that to stay might be a little bit like tricky. You might want to glue it down. That's only if this is like wall hanging only. It's like totally textured, you know, piece of artwork installation. If you think it's going to be in a slightly more high traffic area, then I would do, I would stitch in some little wisps, literally hand stitch them in. You could chain them too, but I feel like with smoke is less about the mathematical repetition of stitch work, and it's a lot more chaotic. And I think bringing an element of that into the blanket might be really awesome. So I would just hand stitch it. I would literally take a length of white yarn, maybe light gray, maybe variegated white, light gray, gray, textured yarn. If you've got some cheap acrylic or cotton or something, and you can like rough it up a little bit and make it look a little bit rough and pilly. And then just right where your chimney is, just underneath the lip of it. So if you've got your chimney down here, maybe pull back the edge a little bit and have it just coming out from underneath it. A little short, maybe medium length straight stitches, a couple, and then a couple more overlapping that, and then maybe a couple more, you know, a little bit of motion to it. And I would hand embroider that with a roughed up, textured bit of white gray, light grayish yarn, whatever you've got on hand. And I think that would really kind of give the idea of it. Nico, thank you, Nico. Nico is back. Nico has slipped in to gift yet another membership. Thank you so much. And Heather has won it. Congratulations, Heather. Welcome to the family. Great question, Vima. Yeah, so I hope that helps. I'm sure you must have something in that fantastic yarn stash of yours. She would be a scream, Summer. If we can get Mama InStitches on, like, and she starts to relax, because everybody's always a little nervous the first time they're, you know, talking to a huge group of people or just, you know, speaking on camera. I just want her to be herself, because my mother-in-law is one of the sweetest, funniest people I know. She's got great ideas when it comes to crafting, when it comes to really just about anything. But she's the life of the party. My mother-in-law is that person that everybody else gravitates towards. She's an absolute angel. She's funny, she's bright, she's effervescent, she's interested, she's curious, she's hilarious. I just adore her so much, and I would love her to have a chance to meet all of you, or the other way around, have you guys all meet her. So
she sneaks in and pays attention.
Yes.
She's in incognito mode.
She watches when she has a and when she has a chance. She's like Carol Doyle,
yes.
One of our longtime members. She's got a billion things going on all the time. So.
Very busy, like Carol. Ooh, 10 out of 10 troll from Jessica Rabbit there.
Oh, Ms. Rabbit with the
That's
phone.
a mic drop right there.
What do we got here? Pity it skipped a generation.
I might have to ban Jessica Rabbit. I think Jessica Rabbit's going into the ban bin.
Ooh, mic drop moment. Mic drop from Ms. Rabbit. Ouch.
Nico approves.
Oh my gosh, you guys are great. See, this is why Mondays are fun again. I laugh. I get to listen to my friends trolling my husband. This is fun.
I got a lot of bruises this morning, and it's only Monday morning.
It's only Monday.
Sheesh.
I made you a pizza this morning.
Yes, it was a very good pizza.
You've had your treat. It's time to take your lumps. Oh my gosh! And with that, my little forest is stitched down. Woohoo! Progress! All right, one last stitch. I'm going to make a little knot here. Are we expecting rain?
The whole week is supposed to be
iffy?
Kind of iffy. A kind of a mix of everything, so it's hard to say. It does seem like it wants to, doesn't it?
Yeah. I thought I saw a really dark cloud a moment ago, but now I don't see it, so...
Pizza for lunch, Audrey. We had pizza for lunch.
Yeah, we have an early lunch in this house.
Early lunch.
Very
Jayda
busy.
Prepared pizza in the morning.
All right. Da-da-da-da! My forest is down. Let me get that right on camera so you guys can see it properly. And there she is, Carol Doyle in the house. She actually found time to be here this morning. That's awesome.
Carol's here.
Oh, Aniri, great question. Would you recommend felting? You know what? If we're going to talk about the smoke coming out of the chimney, felting would be an excellent idea. Needle felting. You could needle felt the smoke. Vima, if you're still listening, you could take raw wool and needle felt the smoke out of the chimney. That would look amazing, Aniri. And yes, if you wanted to actually felt some of the pieces before you attached them, that would be an amazing way to add some texture to this wall hanging. Great idea. Absolutely would suggest that. Woohoo! It's always sunny in the craft room. Anna is correct. It is always sunny in the craft room. Okay, so that is the forest. I am going to now lay everything else down to see what happens next. I knew my forest was mostly in the background. So, I've got... This guy is going to sit on top of... I'm going to worry about figuring that one out in a little bit. This is going to sit... Is that on front of? That's on front of the house. So my mushroom will be sitting on front of the house. I think my house is the next thing to go down. So... I want it mostly covering my little woodsy things. Yes, because then I have this little... I'm going to sew down my little itty bitty chimney first because the chimney sits out, it sits just under the roof. So I'm going to hold that in place. This is a real quick stitch down. I had this black and gray variegated yarn, which I thought kind of looked a bit like stone, and I wanted a stone looking chimney. This little house is it's a version of one of our townhouses from our Folk Art Calendar Blanket series. And I think I included, there were so many parts to that. I think I mentioned the chimney. The chimney is basically just, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 half double crochet. So chain 6, half double crochet into the second chain from the hook, half double crochet in the rest, fasten off, leave a long tail for sewing, and then you use it, you take this and you turn it on its end, and that's your chimney. Super, super simple. Just sort of the suggestion of a chimney. That's what we're going for here. And we sew the chimney down first because it sits behind the roof. It's supposed to look like it's kind of coming out from behind the roof. Little knot there. I'll weave that back in underneath some of those stitches. There we go, and trim. So that's the chimney down. So now you can sort of see like the chimney looks like it's kind of just a bit behind the house. It's coming up from behind the roof. So that's my roof. Now where's the rest of it? This is, I'm gonna put him, he'll be sitting on top. Let me reposition this. I'm gonna have to get some gold yarn to stitch down the rest of my house. So I'm going to start with the roof. That is definitely in the background. This can get out of the way. All right, let's stitch down the roof of this house. And then I will grab some gold yarn to do the rest of it. Excuse me. All right, so nice sharply defined corner there. I'm going to make sure it doesn't move because I want it to stay. I don't want the bottom of my chimney to peek out. I'm going to grab a piece of the chimney as I'm stitching just to make sure that that roof is definitely over top of the chimney. So the chimney edge is hidden behind my roof. Okay, I'm going to take a moment as I've just finished one almost complete side of the roof. I want to make sure that the peak of my house is like right where I want it. It's, you know, pointy at the top, it's even on both sides, and that the rest of my house hasn't shifted. So I'm going to take a moment to just make sure each stitch across the top of my roof is sewn down. Okay, and the last one on the peak, and then I'm going to come down the other side. All right. Watched the original Jurassic Park movie from, what is that, 1993 or something last night?
I think it's 98.
Is it 98?
I'm not sure.
Early, I thought it was more the early 90s, but my gosh, that still holds up. What a great movie.
Mm-hmm. After all these years, it's still a good one.
It's so good.
We should watch the second one.
Yes, we'll watch the second one tonight. I don't think I ever saw the second one.
Sounds like in some of the U.S. southern states, it's quite hot today.
Ooh. Well, unless I'm going to the beach, I'm not interested in the heat. So
93.
Wow, oh my gosh,
is it that old? So it's holding up really well.
Yeah, 93. I was right. Yes, this is a good movie. Well, the animatronics.
I didn't realize it was that old.
The animatronics in that movie are amazing. The puppets they made, it's so good. All right, so that's my roof. I'm going to just make a little itty bitty knot here. Actually, I might make this a little bit sharper, this peak. I'm just going to pull, I'm going to put one extra little stitch in. There we go. All right, one little knot. And I'll just weave this in underneath some of these stitches. So now I've got to grab some gold yarn so that I can stitch down the rest of the house, because I didn't leave a long tail on it, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. Actually, I might as well just run this under the length of the whole front of the house. Why not?
White Hawk was born the year Jurassic Park came out.
Whoa!
So you're just a baby.
I was still in high school, but I was in high school.
I was coming out of high school, I think, or about to.
Yeah,
somewhere
you were
around there.
You would have been close to.
I was close to finishing high school.
I was. When did I graduate? I would have still had several years of high school left, so I was in high school, but just barely. All right, so I want to go with about this much to sew down my house. All right, so I'm going to just peel back the back of my house. I'm going to anchor my sewing yarn on the back of the house with a simple knot, nothing fancy. So, like I said before, if you forget to leave a tail for sewing on any of your appliques, or if you made something, you know, and put it away in your stash and you didn't necessarily intend to use it as an applique, but now you want to, easy peasy, you just grab some yarn that's the same or the similar color and just knot it on the back of your applique and sew like you would if you'd never not added a tail in the first place.
I have to see what 104 degrees Fahrenheit is in Celsius.
Yeah, we're Celsius. We use Celsius up here.
We use Celsius here.
So 100 degrees to me is like what water boils at.
So Fahrenheit 104, 40 degrees.
That is hot.
That's hot.
No, thank you.
But if it's also humid, then that's torture.
That's torture, yeah. In Southern Ontario, we've got the big Great Lakes. We have all the Great Lakes surrounding us.
It can reach 40. It's reached 40 in Southern Ontario
we've had it
many
hit 40,
times.
But it's the humidity.
But,
you just feel like you're walking around and trying to breathe in a swamp. It's terrible. Blah.
Yeah, 40 degrees. That's hot. That's Florida right now.
That is hot. Wow. Wow. Now, if I was sitting on a beach...
if anyone's in like Texas or Arizona, let us know what your temperature is.
If I was sitting on a beach under an umbrella with a nice cold frosty drink, I'd be content.
And a gentle breeze.
And a gentle breeze, yeah. Watching the boats go by, that sounds nice.
That sounds pretty good. Welcome to Central Texas, says Heather.
Ooh.
So I guess 40 degrees Celsius is pretty standard there in Central Texas.
Well, you're getting close to the equator down there,
Aren't you practically like touching Mexico at that stage? Or near the desert or something?
Again, our geography is lacking.
We only know a little bit, guys. Just a little bit.
I can basically get to the grocery store. That's my geography.
Happy anniversary to everyone that has an anniversary coming. I know we're getting to that time of year.
Oh, yeah.
Right? May, June, July,
yes,
August, September.
The
all
nice
the anniversaries
weather.
Start popping up.
The nice weather to get married in.
Nice weather days.
All right, and that is the house stitched down. Whee! One more little guy up here. All right, and I will make a tiny wee little knot at the edge here.
Oh my goodness. So Vima's in India. It's 9:30 p.m. It's 44 degrees Celsius.
Oh my gosh. No monsoons yet, eh, Rima?
So what's it like right at noon? 50?
It's hide inside. That's what it is.
Hide in a cave weather. Wow.
Oh my gosh. That is so hot.
And that's with like the sun practically down. My goodness.
That's where the sun is. Literally, the sun is shining from inside of India.
The sun hangs out in India, I guess.
Wow. And if I look outside right now, I see like some pretty ominous clouds kind of strolling past. So
it looked like it wanted to rain 10 minutes ago, and now it looks like the sun's peeking out
now the
again.
sun looks like it wants to come out.
I think it's going to be like this all week.
Well, that's okay,
I suppose. It's like doesn't really know what it wants to do.
It's undecided. All right. I think the next thing I had here was my little... because this kind of sits up on top of these guys, and this is going to sit down here. And then he's going to sit somewhere here. Yeah, so I think the next thing is going to be my... Is it? Or is it going to be this? You know what? I think it might actually have to be... I had this stitched through that. So I think I'm going to have to sew down one of my birdhouse posts, because it goes over top of this bit of tree. But my giant toadstool kind of overlaps, sort of sits out in front of this birdhouse post. So I'm going to just move this to the side. I'm going to quickly stitch down my birdhouse post. I know that my big flower overlaps it, and this goes straight up here, and then this will be, or do I have to move it over a little bit? Because I don't want this to completely eclipse the top of my, but that sits behind you, and then you sit kind of here. that whole thing can move over a little bit. And then this comes down. That sits behind you. Now, is that still touch? Yes, just barely. Unless I move this. Nope, I might be able to get away with it. All right, I'm going to sew down, change of plans. I'm sewing down my mushroom. This guy I've just moved slightly to the left, so it's just out of the way of the top of the mushroom piece. As you stitch stuff down, you'll notice that. You'll find that, oh, that angle came out a little better, or I don't want to cover up the tip of my tree, you know, little things like that. Diane will be celebrating 42 years on June the 19th. That is phenomenal.
Little celebratory, the animation I have ready to go. So just pretend it says happy anniversary, everyone. Just pretend it says happy scratched out anniversary.
A little note about the smaller details in your applique. If you've got a piece that you really want to have like angled, like you want to have it like kind of pinched a little bit here and maybe stretched a little bit there, that's where you want to make sure you're using every single stitch to get just the right shape of your piece as you're sewing it down. So if you're working on some of the more kind of visible or more centerpiece, focal point appliques, take a little extra time when you're stitching them down just to make sure that they are all sort of shaped the way you want them to. They look neat and tidy, you know, because those are the things that are going to draw the eye. I kind of wanted this wall hanging to have a feeling like a Where's Waldo kind of feeling to it, so that it makes you want to stop and look at it and look for all of the little things that might be hiding. Aha. Yes, that looks good. Toadstools are so cute. Sandio says the four seasons don't always show up in the right order in the UK, and I have to say that's sort of similar here. All right, so that is the little toadstool part sewn down. And the stem of my toadstool, I'm going to just make a little knot. And I'll weave this in underneath some of these stitches here. And then I am going to reassess whether or not my toadstool cap is going to be sitting on top of that bird post or not. This is the finicky bit of making sure when you're sewing things down, everything's in the precise place that you want it, because you don't want to have to try and you don't want to kind of get something stitched down and then go, oh, something was supposed to be underneath that. So that's that. Now, let's be serious here. Is this going to sit straight right at the edge of that? And if I bring this down, I want to be able to see that this is going to sit on top of it, which means that this is going to move over here. You guys are going to you're going to be over here, probably underneath that, on top of that. Now, it's going to just touch. So that means I need to sew down this post next. So birdhouse post coming in. Sakura Sue, Miss Sue, hello, a super sweet super sticker of such a cute lemon. Thank you so much, Sue. Oh my god, that's so cute. Ta-da! Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Thank you so much. I like them one. I love it. All right, so I'm going to stitch down this post. Now I want to make sure that I keep it straight, so I'm kind of looking to make sure that it
says happy belated birthday.
Who? What? Pardon?
Sakura Sue says happy belated birthday.
Thank you, Sue.
From the super chat.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was in May. It was a nice birthday. I got some really neat things for my birthday. I'm actually gonna have to put those in a little.
Too many neat things. I'd like to add. Way too many.
I'm gonna have to do a little video on those because I got some nifty stuff.
Oh, you have to show everyone all your crafting goodies.
Mm-hmm. Very pleased. Very pleased.
Summer's birthday was on Thursday? Well, happy birthday.
Happy belated.
Belated. I have the right animation for that one.
We almost need a birthday animation that's like wah wah.
When you pass 25.
Yeah, and you're like,
when you pass 25, you get the wah wah wah. That's your birthday surprise. Barb says, "Yay, a haul video for sure."
Yeah.
Jayda got spoiled this year.
I got some unique things. So and just some fun stuff. So I'm gonna do a little video on that. I'll get that one out to you guys at some point. There are the list of things that I want to get filmed is as long as my arm at this point. We keep coming up with new ideas for this wall hanging. I think I'm done adding things to this wall hanging, but I'm not done by a long stretch with the tutorials on little appliques because you guys just had so many super ideas. I've written them down. I'm gonna see how many of them I can make because I have a feeling I'm going to be making a few more of these. These are just too cute. I feel like this would be a really neat gift for, just about anybody. But I'm thinking specifically like, say, somebody going away to college for the first time and they want to bring a little bit of home. This is a really easy thing to bring because it folds up flat and you can put it into a suitcase, so it doesn't take up a lot of room for traveling. But it's a nice big piece that can go up on the wall, and it's like unique, it's fun, it's sweet, it's comforting, it's you know, it's one of those things that like all their friends would pop into their dorm room and be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Where did you get that? So I just feel like that would be like a nice gift for somebody going off to school, especially if you made it to kind of look like their hometown. It's also great, obviously, in a nursery for little kids. The thing with wall hangings is that the subject matter and the imagery can be anything, as we discussed in previous live streams. We have so many great ideas. All right, so now I'm going to go up the other side. I think imagine you keep this relatively straight, so that feels good.
You're getting some late birthday well wishes.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you. Another year older, another year wiser. Another year grateful, really. Grateful to just be around still. That's nice. Okay, so as I go up the other side, because I really want to focus on this post being nice and straight, I'm going to pause regularly to make sure that I'm putting my stitches in just the right spot to keep it as straight as possible so that it looks like a post. Do I have different scissors for different uses? Asks Audrey. Oh, I certainly do. I've got a lot of scissors that I just will allow yarn snipping with. I've got scissors that I snip embroidery floss with. I don't even know where those ones are at the moment. I've got like a little, so I think you've probably all seen these. I have a blue pair and I have a pair of fairy scissors, and those ones I'll snip yarn. The blue ones I usually use for embroidery floss, but these ones and my little fairy scissors I'll snip yarn with. But they've got a really sharp pointed tip, so when I'm doing a lot of work on the surface or the counter, I like to just have a pair of rounded craft scissors to use so that I don't accidentally bump into them, because I become very super focused on what I'm doing, and I'll just put stuff down literally where I last used it, and I'll bump into it all the time, so I don't want to risk poking myself. I also don't want the sharp needle end. As you can see, these are very sharp. I don't want the sharp needle end of these scissors to accidentally grab or dig up any of my stitches or my work. So in order to keep things safe, I'm using the blunt-ended scissors today, and these are just regular craft scissors. I'll snip anything with these. I'll snip the yarn, I'll snip paper. I have sewing scissors, and you do not touch anything but fabric with those, so you don't want to blunt the scissors. So yeah, I've got scissors for all sorts of different projects here. Anna Victoria in the house, member for 28 months. Thank you, Anna. Anna with a membership milestone says, even though it says 28 months, I remember my first InStitches video on Valentine's weekend of 2014. That was 10 years ago. Oh my gosh. Thank you for a decade of amazing videos. Holy cow.
Anna, you've been around since almost the beginning.
Wow.
I think we started...
Basically,
we
that
started
weekend.
around 2013 with the channel stuff. And then I think our first official tutorial was the beginning of 2014, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, Anna gets the animation I have ready. Celebration. 10 years of Anna hanging around and watching. This is not a troll, by the way. This is not a troll.
Has anybody noticed the sound of Mr. InStitches' bell having changed? Did anybody notice that?
Not one person noticed.
Nobody.
I've been waiting.
So, not only are you getting trolled, your new bell isn't
I've been trolling everyone this whole time.
Nobody's recognized your new bell.
And no one even noticed.
Mr. InStitches got a new bell for my birthday.
We were shopping for Jayda's birthday, and I needed a gift myself. Actually, I bought this bell for all of you. This is a gift to all of you viewing.
Oh, that's what we're calling it.
Yeah.
All right, that is the first birdhouse post sewn down. So now I know that's down, that's out of the way, and I've got a lot of stuff that's going to go over top of it, so it's good to get that one down. And I can finish with my toadstool now. I'm just going to weave in a bit of that tail there. Okay. Oh, another thing, just to keep talking about these scissors, another thing with these is that because they're craft scissors, they're a little fatter. So when I go to actually snip a yarn, I'm less likely, not completely unlikely, but I'm less likely to accidentally snip some of the stitches of my applique, just because this is like blunter. It's a little, the little blades are a bit thicker, so I'm a bit further away from what I'm snipping, so that's just a little bit safer because I can be klutzy and I don't want to accidentally cut any of my appliques. So that will end up going here. That will be underneath that. Okay, I can come back to that. All right, so now I can finish off my little toadstool. This is so merry. I just love it. Okay, so I'm overlapping the toadstool cap with the toadstool stem just a little bit. And it's going to overlap with my house, one of my trees, and a little bit on that bird post. Nico! Gifting Nicho! Gifting Nicho. Nico, you are now Nicho. Gifting Ninja.
Nico is now Nicho. Nicho has gifted a
Nacho
membership.
Nicho. Thank you, Nico. Has just gifted another membership. Congratulations,
Nico
Lauren.
is looking for some service.
Lauren has won it. Congratulations, Lauren. Thank you, Nico. Nacho Nicho. Easy for you to say.
Nicho has nachoed a membership.
Thank you, Nico. The ultimate troll here in the house. Easy for you to say. All right. I'm going to get this mushroom cap sewn down. I'm actually feeling really good. I got quite a bit of the major things on the right side of this little wall hanging stitched down today. So that feels stupendous. I'm going to finish.
See my gnome garden crew, the landscape crew I hired.
They are hiding behind these.
How come they haven't shown up yet?
They're hiding behind the big flowers.
My yard is a mess. They even made me pay in advance. I don't know how I feel about this crew. I think I got scammed by the gnomes.
The gnomes have scammed you.
Uh-huh.
That's funny. All right.
Nicho has gifted a nacho by Nico. Try and say that 3 times quickly.
Nicho has gifted a nacho?
By Nico. Nicho has gifted a nacho
Nico
by
has
Nico.
nicked a nacho.
Sounds like artwork.
It does, actually. Well, I think I'm going to finish sewing down this mushroom cap, and then I think we'll call it a day. And please keep the photos of your wall hangings coming. We shared a few more on the community tab earlier today. And they don't necessarily have to be completed. I've got a few more that I want to share that are not fully completed, just like mine is. So if you're still working away on it, but you're really excited about how it's looking, feel free to share, or you can wait till it's completely done and send us a photograph then, and we'll be happy to include that in a roundup. Don't forget our Granny's Magical Cupboard June Granny Square. We did the Irish Rose this month. I love that square. Really, really enjoying that one. We did that on Friday, and the pattern is available in the Etsy shop, and all of our Granny's Magical Cupboard Granny Squares are on sale today 15% off. So if you want to grab one or a few or catch up or something, please feel free to take advantage of the sale. That is the rest of today. And thank you so much to everybody who's picked up one or two or a little something. We really appreciate it. It does keep us going. Like, for real. We're still here because of you guys. We're doing silly things like this, which I'm kind of loving. I'm already considering a Christmas one, a Halloween one, an autumn one for sure. I'm thinking even an Easter one would be fun. Just all of them. And then all the other little themes we were thinking about. I just like the idea of being able to kind of trade out what's hanging on the wall in this one space regularly. And since they're relatively small, they fold flat, it's not a big deal to sort of store them somewhere. So a wonderful plan. And one more little stitch. I think I'm going to actually use the back edge of this edge of the post, just so it's kind of on there. Nice. All right, and that is my toadstool stitched down. Let's spin this back the other way. I'm just going to do one more little finishing stitch here. There we go. And a tiny wee knot. Good-o. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. It's this is just the nicest way to spend a Monday. Mondays are so much better now that we're all hanging out. I really look forward to Mondays. I hope I'm not the only one, but it's just so nice to like look forward to a Monday. I also know I'm going to get sort of work done on a project that I'm eagerly anticipating the hanging of. I'm looking forward to putting this up on the wall, but I really want to just enjoy the process too. So it's nice to be able to sit and do it with all of you, and sort of see what's going on with all of you in the chat when I have a chance to actually pull my head up and look at it. You guys are wonderful. Best community on the internet, bar none. I am certain of it because you guys are fun and funny, creative, sharing, caring. I love it. You guys are super supportive to each other, to us. It's fantastic. And amazing things come out of the collective brain storming that we do when we have these fun little live workshops. So I want to thank you guys for helping me design this wall hanging and helping it all come together, because this is one of the most playful, fantastical things I've ever stitched up, and I cannot wait to hang it on my wall. So I'm really enjoying this. I hope you guys are too. And welcome to June. If you haven't already checked out the June Granny Square tutorial that was up Friday, feel free to check that out. We'll make sure that link is somewhere. And we will see you guys soon. Definitely this Friday. And who knows what might be coming in between. It's the summer. Anything can happen. So have a great week, Mr. InStitches. Anything you want to add?
Nope, you've covered everything and more.
I covered it.
Everyone have a wonderful week, and we'll see you Friday.
We will see you guys